Hello, welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Karen, episode 75. Holy shit, it's crazy. With special guest Dylan Michael. We're going to be talking about twin flames. The whole month of February, actually, every live stream, I'm going to have a couple of special guests. We're going to have a couple of activations. This phenomenon is coming up in literally every bespoke dragon invocation that I've done for the last month. Pretty much since 11/11, it's been nonstop. I just had lunch with a good friend yesterday. She's in the middle of hers. It's just, yeah, it just needs to be talked about. It's one of those things that happens when you're dealing with creation and destruction energy at the super conscious level. So, wait for everyone to jump on.
We're also doing Facebook and IG.
Yeah.
So if you need to move off one or the other,
yeah,
we'll be in both places.
Whichever one works better. Say hi when you jump on. If you have any questions about anything, you guys know it's interactive. So, let's start by lighting our candle, creating a sacred space. Just letting and allowing for the messages to come through as guided by the divine will of all source of creation, and truly rekindling our own soul knowledge and becoming the way showers that we are born to be. And the dragons, of course, the dragons coming in hot. The golden yellow dragon's already here, so we'll just golden orange dragon. He's like the dragon that is here to help you detach from your history and detaching and the one that's like rewriting the myths, right? So we're going to be talking about the Persephone myth here in a second and the real version.
Also, I'm feeling like a green-blue dragon too.
The green blue dragon.
You know which one that is?
Well, you always have the dragon from the Pleiades like around you. So unconditional love really opening. So and that's what twin flames really are, is pure reflections of unconditional love that you have for yourself. So yeah, yes, blue Pleiadian dragons. Syrian dragons are also always around right now. They're helping us guide because the planet Karnak, which we know of the Syrian Star Nation, their dragons help us with the spiritual technology necessary for the ascension. So good job picking up on the dragons.
I know, they're here.
They're here. So let's start with a little story. How many of you, leave some hearts, likes, comments, whatever, have heard of the Persephone's Hades story, right? I'll give you the old version. The old version is that Persephone is the maiden goddess of the springtime, and she's this pure, innocent, virgin goddess, and she's out in the woods one day picking wildflowers, and the whole of the earth is ripped in front of her, and Hades, lord of the underworld, grabs her and snatches her down into hell, and rapes her and pillages her, and all these horrible things happen, keeps her kidnapped, and then she finally tries to escape and eats 6 pomegranate seeds and is therefore trapped for all eternity. Right? It's really dark, horrible fucking story. Maybe not so fun. I have a different version for you.
Now blocked on YouTube.
Now blocked on YouTube, right? I have a different version that I think will help resonate more and help you really understand what a twin flame connection, which is one soul split between two bodies, is really fully. So let's rewrite this story. Persephone is actually the queen of the underworld, and she has been written about for thousands and thousands of years before Hades ever showed up, ever in any story. He came way later.
So like debunk the underworld too for them.
Yeah.
Like just,
Yeah.
Not a bad place.
Oh, we have to debunk the underworld. The underworld is not an evil, scary place. We go there all the time. You don't have one dark night of your soul. There's a lot of them. So you need to get really comfortable with going deep into those shadows, right? You guys hear about shadow work. You hear about going into the unconscious mind. That's really what the story of Persephone and Hades is also teaching you, that you have to go into those dark depths and you can't just look at love and light. Like really, if you only preach about love and light all the time and you deny the flesh, you're walking around like cut in half. Really, truly. It's a Fia lyric, but it's so so applicable.
Yeah, and a renunciate of the darkness will always crave the darkness in a deep level because you don't have it, right? We live in the world of duality and experience. And when something is kept off limits from us, it becomes taboo, it becomes desired, and that shadow for desire for it just grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, the forbidden fruit syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with the forbidden fruit syndrome, and Eve always gets the bad rap, but all of us were like that, right? You see it with teenagers and drinking. Don't drink, and then who's the demographic that drinks the most?
Teenagers.
Teenagers. So, and that's with anything, right? If we when we take things off of the black market, guess what? People aren't as likely to abuse that. You can see it in all sorts of things, including like drug rehabilitation in Portugal and what they're doing in Oregon now. All of these things are to help stifle this whole need to be bad, like let me get my bad boy out, and then like getting really fucking addicted to bad things.
It's a place of creation, and it's a place of where we think all of our bad self is at, right? Every shame story and all the stuff where we thought we were stuff we don't want to show, that stuff beneath the mask.
Yeah.
But it's
So
also the place of powerful creation.
yeah, and that's the black womb of no thing, right? The underworld is just the womb. It's the space where everyone was. We all had a womb. We were all in a womb. We were all in a womb. We were all in the dark at one point. So really, no longer being afraid of those shadows, no longer being afraid of the parts of you that, and we've been talking about this for weeks on here, right? Really allowing yourself to open that closet full of skeletons, open the trap door, and just let it all out. Because once it's out in the open, guess what? It can't fuck like it can't hurt you anymore. It's usually your stories about what's gonna happen when that fuck with you the most. And once it's just out, it's just out.
Yeah, if you go back to about 2 weeks ago, we did Thousand Deaths or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't on, but you were doing it, and that was really powerful for allowing those things to come to the light. Because just like being born through birth, you're in the dark womb, you come out, and you're in the light. It's so simple.
Yeah. But how do you do that? It's always through this unconditional love, right? And that's what everyone's preaching is how do you love all the different parts of yourself? How do you love the narcissist as well as the server, right? Like the servant. How can you be the servant and the saint at the same time, right? So if we go back to the Persephone story, let's add in the fact that we're all dragons and the fact that we're all gods and the fact that we're all actually omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient beings here on this planet, and we just forgot because that's the game of life. So let's say that Persephone, being this goddess of the underworld, got bored and she's like, I'm so fucking tired of floating around knowing everything. I know what's gonna, oh, this soul's about to drop in, right? Like, even if you think about Hades from Hercules, right? That's kind of what he's doing. He's bored in the underworld. He knows, he predicts everything that's gonna happen in his life. He wants to switch it up a little bit. So Persephone, goddess of the underworld, says, you know what? I'm going to split myself in half. I'm going to take all of the good parts of me and put it in here, this maiden innocent goddess. And I'm going to take all the bad parts of me and put it over here in this evil, narcissistic, arrogant god who's just horrible and torturous. Still same person, same god, but she's just taken all of her parts and split in half. Spends, I don't know, a few thousand years in this dynamic because what's a few thousand years in eternity to a god? And in the course has this epic, legendary myth that stands through the tests of time about how she reunited with her own self in the underworld, eats this fruit, remembers, oh, I actually did all of this to myself. You know, she's sitting there in the underworld crying, oh my God, I've been taken away from my mother, and this is scary, and I don't know what to do. And then she eats the fruit, and then she remembers, oh shit, I actually planned all of this. Has a gay old laugh about it. Oh my goodness, this has been a hilarious couple thousand years. And then goes off to live happily ever after with Hades in the underworld because she remembers that she is Hades and he is her. If you can look at that myth that way, the twin flame phenomenon all of a sudden makes a whole lot of sense. When you're meeting the person that reflects all of the inner work you've done to love on your own shadow, it's going to then kind of be a mind fuck until you remember, oh wait, no, I did this on purpose. So we're gonna let that sit for a second and see you guys have any comments, questions, concerns. Who is this morning here? Yay! Someone woke up for a drink. I love you. I love you. Woke up from a dream about you. Okay. So what's next?
What's next?
So twin flame. Why do you give a fuck about having a twin flame?
Why does anyone?
Because it's easier. No. Everyone wants a soulmate, right? Everyone wants this like you complete me.
Romeo and Juliet.
Everyone wants Romeo and Juliet.
And they're willing to die for it.
But that's Romeo and Juliet is a really sad fucking story if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Jonah, mind blown.
But how many times have twin flames incarnated as Romeo and Juliet? Right? That energy leading up to now, where now we finally have all done the inner work where we can actually connect and come into a stable union instead of a chaotic union and actually hold that frequency of what that divine union looks like. Because if the polarities are messed up, it's like nuclear fission. All of a sudden, you're doing weird stuff and it just blows up and everything does, and then you're getting burned at the stake or something,
Yeah,
and you're the other one's watching it, and it's just
yeah.
it's not good.
So, so let's go back and let's pretend, because this is all just imagination anyway. Let's suppose that for the ascension or creation of New Earth, there were some souls that were like, you know what? I've been around for like several thousand lifetimes at this point. I want to switch it up on myself in this Earth game, and I'm going to split myself in half. I want to play out the Persephone Hades stories in real life. But I'm going to come back together just in time for the critical mass of consciousness necessary to shift us out of the patriarchal, oppressive scarcity. But during this 26,000 year phase where we're in oppression and scarcity, like let's go hard. Like let's go hardcore mode, right? Like video games, some of them have like easy mode and like regular, but then there's hardcore. Yeah. Some souls were like, let's go hardcore. But I'm going to do so much growth and learning that when I come back into union with myself, when I'm ready to really be done with the earth experiment, go transcend off, become a fully ascended master, I will be able to help like rocket boost the ascension, right? The energy power will be like a nuclear bomb, like going off that really helps boost all of that. That is the phenomenon that's occurring when you see these twin flame activations happening with highly conscious beings who already on their own are they're fully aware, right? They've come in full alchemical marriage with themselves, which we've talked about a lot on here, coming into light loving shadow and shadow loving light within yourself. What then happens is that you pull in soul fragments all the times that you've all the things that you've separated, all your little horcruxes, and eventually you pull in the half of you. If you're at at that level, how do we explain that?
What do you mean?
You can meet your twin flame like what he was talking about in previous lives, and you're not actually meant to come into full union together and like ascend out of the human game.
Oh yeah, you're coming in with many soul contracts. So I've had many clients and different people I've worked with and just met over the last year. Really, the twin flame energy has been accelerating faster and faster, and I'm like, oh, synchronicity is coming with it. But they are all a lot of these women specifically are holding large amounts of space for the men, absorbent amounts of space, like to the point where the man is completely lost in the sauce. He's just avoiding everything. He's 3D. He probably knows he's psychic or has some sort of thing that scares the shit out of him. And he just wants to come into a place where he can just be safe, right? She's already cosmic or cosmic adjacent. And the dharma of her is that she must support him or just choose herself in this lifetime because they're not meant to come into union. So it's that flash of the union, or it's the false twin, or it's the 3D soulmate, the 3D twin flame, where like you're super connected. You're not cosmic, but you're connected and you're doing your thing. And just by having that connection, you are holding space for the overall ascension of the planet. And then we have even like celebrity twin flames, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Brad Pitt, Angelina, right? These really powerful couples that come together and create more power and merge. And you can tell they're just mirror reflections of each other. Whether or not they're cosmic, I would assume they probably are, just on what the amount of stuff that they do. So we tend to come in lives exactly as we need them. As you're finding us, if you're resonating in our frequency, I have to confidently say that you have a grand mission. And the only thing separating you from your grand mission here from ascension is your own inner work. which will then connect you to the partner that you're supposed to do the work with. You know, dragons always work in pairs.
Yeah.
So either you're low tier dragon, you're a fledgling, and you're a fledgling playing around, and maybe you start a Reiki business together, right? And you do that kind of stuff. Or you go big time and you start a huge New Earth corporation together.
Right. Yeah. So dragons do always work in pairs.
Sometimes three.
Sometimes threes. Yes. High Z. So dragons work in pairs, just again, creation destruction, right? It's what we always talk about, being the Kundalini, having that equal the the perfect alchemical marriage. So when these twins come together, that there's this awakened twin. There's this whole fucking process, guys. The whole process. There are so many women who are awake who have done the inner work that realize, okay, I'm no longer at a consciousness level with probably the man that you've had children with or you've been with for a really long time. You don't understand as the woman that your consciousness level is now trying to find your full soulmate. What I mean by this, your twin flame. What I mean by this is that women have been oppressed for so long that we have to know on our own that we can support ourselves in our own divine mission before our full other half will come into our lives. So we can be supported in our human existence, and then there's this dissonance that occurs, right? You can sometimes make it work out. I'm not going to really speak on that because it's so specific to each individual's situation, but this is about two people separate, knowing they're actually full and whole and perfect and complete on themselves, creating the ability to then come back and be like, oh, wait, when we're together, all of my own little dreams that I've had make way more sense. Oh, you're the missing piece, not in a you complete me, but in a holy shit, now I understand all the visions I've already had that I was actually okay to go do on my own, but it's now going to be so much easier because you're here. That makes sense. Oh my god, Z. um what again, like, why does anyone care about this? Because we're at the point of ascension. We need to wake up more of these power couples.
Yeah,
like that's it.
You can really see the pattern, right? Before any of us got into New Age spiritual, even consciousness or existentialism, the chances of us hearing about twin flame are probably 0% or less than 1%. However, there is the soulmate concept, the true love, the destiny, that partner, right? That same twin flame energy, but in a
it's
more
victimized. It's you complete me.
Yeah,
you're the part of me that I've been missing.
it's an astral love, so it's a very much like a I want to possess you, or you complete me, right? It's not coming into the higher heart, so it's not like I am whole and you are just a pure reflection of me, and you get and accept all the darkest parts of me, and I get and accept all the darkest parts of you. So there's to for the fact that it's only buzzing in our community says a lot, right? Because our community is the only place that really New Earth leaders are being developed currently, and it'll be our mentalities and our ideologies that come and work with other 3D builders that are currently building, maybe politicians or political business people or whomever we're going to meet and connect with and create the bridges between the dimensions. So the fact that it's happening here means it has to do with the amount of inner work that people do in our sphere. Right. And it wasn't until I started doing really deep diving inner work did I start attracting all of these false twins. It was like I would attract new spiritual bestie and they would be like, oh my God, we're twin flames. I know this. I got the download. I feel it in my heart. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I feel it too. And it happened over and over and over again. So I started thinking of this. I started talking to my clients and they started asking me about twin flames too. And I said, all started going back to that same lust, right? I've met someone, they've rocked my world. It was the best sex ever. It was felt cosmic because it wasn't so I'm gonna just take your body as a sex toy and get off kind of vibe. It was some sort of a more emotional, spiritual level connection.
You complete me.
You complete me. Yes, it's still that I'm taking part of you and filling me, right? It's that lack of the inner work. And that's where that clarity needs to come in. And as you're meeting people, as you're working on yourself, as you're on this journey, if you're going to feel the twin coming in, you're going to feel that energy resonating. Almost, I talk to some people and they feel them like they can hear them, they can get visions of them, they see them coming through, but they haven't quite connected to them in the physical plane yet. But when you get lost in that lust, when you get lost in that complete me, when you get lost in that, if it feels like you're chasing a high, you really want to step back and see like how grounded you are in that too. And then really start to realize that when you see that pure reflection of yourself, it's going to be so scary, so tumultuous, and so triggering that the love hate paradigm goes from, oh my God, I've never felt this good, to, oh my God, I hate this. Like, what the heck, right? And there's this chase phenomenon that comes on that you probably have read about. It's a deflection between both. And I would have to just speak on personal experience that most likely it would be triggered by by the masculine, by the man figure, just because no matter what codes they hold inside their body, just the way the masculine has been cut off from feeling emotional stuff, all that kind of things through societal rhetoric, that seeing that level of support is shocking. That level of love is shocking, that it's scary because it just feels weird,
Yeah.
you know?
The biggest thing is if you feel like you've met your twin flame and you're saying things like, it's just so easy, everything's just working out, so like immediately off the bat, it's not your twin flame. I promise to you. Because that energy of it's so easy is a soul contract. Soul contracts are usually very simple because you're here to just like a lot of the times just write a little like, okay, we've been fucking around for many, many lifetimes together. This is the ascension lifetime. Let's clean up the karma. This is super easy. I love this. But when it comes to a divine mission together, you're not, there isn't one. There isn't this like vision that together you somehow are able to make it click and work and be bigger. When you meet as a super conscious leader of society, remember, we're super conscious leaders. We're not just every the average metaphysicians here. We're here to take up leadership roles in causes, companies, and countries all over the planet to ascend the entire global consciousness to higher levels of peace, love, unity, and respect. Let's just remember this.
This is the mission that makes you want to throw up when you
Yeah.
first think about
When
it.
you
You're like,
first think about it, you're like, I'm going to do what now?
yeah,
You're going to get burned. You're going to get assassinated. You're going to be, yeah, your leaders of leaders. Thank you, Becca. I love you too. Um, that's what we are here. So when we're speaking to twin flames, we're speaking to the 144,000, the 77,000 twins out there that are meant to stand up as these dragon beacons of light roaring so loud and so bright and so big that the world has to pay attention. There's no other fucking option. That you're everywhere. You're on all the billboards. You're on every radio station. You're on the fucking regular 3D shows too because you're that fucking hot. Everyone wants a piece of you. You're magnetizing them. But covertly and co-oply, you're actually running high level of consciousness through and disseminating through all of consciousness. There's now 11 people watching. So when we talk about the twin flame activation occurring, guess what? It's going to fucking suck. Girls, women, you're going to be like, hey, dude, remember that karmic contract that we have? Why are you running away from me? And they're going to be like, oh my God, you love me too much. I don't know how to deal with this love and support. I need to run away now. And it will flip your world upside down. Everything that you thought that you knew about who you were and what you were supposed to be doing is probably a lie because it was small. You were playing small. When you really come into fully and completely aligned with this level of your mission and you pull in a support system that's your pure reflection that's going to make you deal with all the triggers that you thought that you dealt with, you're like, oh, I've done the mirror work on that. You sat there in front of an actual fucking mirror. No, there's something different when it's like your actual pure chaos incarnate coming into your life.
I'm not the one with the warning
Oh yeah,
label.
I'm the one with the warning label.
But
Facts.
actually, though, it really, I think, comes down to also,
Yes, Leah.
we're processing right now tons of bloodline, tons of ancestral stuff, and tons of multiple timelines, and we've incarnated here. So if you're in reaching that twin flame connection, you're close to it, or you've maybe already attracted it, but you've demonized it because it was so triggering. You've put him as a false twin, a narcissist, some sort of evil person in your life, right? That you had this crazy connection with, but they were just so evil and so out to get you. And you've already put him in a box, right? It's that clearing that past life energy where it's like, yeah, she might have watched me die a couple of times. I might have watched her die. We might have been
100.
collaborating before, and we might have gotten killed by the whole community. Like there might have been multiple times where we've cursed each other and cursed myself and cursed different things, so I wouldn't be able to be so clairvoyant and be able to see into the
Cause
future.
fuck humans. They
Yeah.
don't get it and they wanna like stifle magic. If you think about how many thousands of years they've been afraid of magic,
Mm-hmm.
if you've been magical this whole time, you've always been a dragon,
Yeah.
they're going to burn you at the stake, quarter you, do all these things. Well, some of those times when you're dying, you literally are like, fuck humans, and you curse yourself.
Yep.
Well, this is the ascension. This is the golden age. This is when we get to take all of those things that we've done over the past few thousand, 20,000 years and correct them, which helps if you have the part of you that did that in all the other lifetimes with you.
Yes. And we're dealing with those next level triggers because it's just without seeing those triggers. Like I thought I had did the work before I met you. Like I thought I had done the work, and basically I'm done now. What are we at? 4 months,
100 days.
100 days of deep dive with the dragon doula, and yeah, she births dragons. I had the inclinations, I had things, but as far as my spiritual ascension, magic energy, everything we went through and processed, and the amount of space that she held for me as I was traversing the underworld, going through these deep trauma triggers because that I forced down into my belly because I said I was too strong to deal with emotions and whatnot, right? There's this huge process of this dissolution of who you think you are, of what you think you know, of what you think you like, what frequency you think you hold, or all of basically everything, unscrambling everything that's not in alignment for your life starts to dissolve. It even maybe seem like you're losing everything before you really gain it all, right? And then once you're in alignment, if you can pass all of that, if you can hold space and be able to hold the heart frequency and just surrender to the or not align with the connection and just really allow that union to happen, then you get blessed. And then you start to get real blessed because the 144,000 are here to really change the world. They are the grid layers, they are the new conscious deliverers, they are the beacon points, the lighthouses that are going to be spread across the planet. That's why, as you know, Karen teaches, she's connected in Australia and India and Europe and all these places because the web is starting to weave around the energy of the goddess. And so, as we work that together with the union, boom, we start to create these big things. All that we can attract is pure high level abundance. And the 144,000 are not meant to really be sadhus and priests and renunciates hiding away in the islands or the mountains. They're meant to be on the front lines, those leaders wearing that full gold armor with their wings and everything. And they're just, oh, their treasure chest has been unlocked.
Yeah, I mean, the Joan of Arcs.
The Joan of Arcs.
And the Jesuses and the Mary Magdalenes, right? Like literally the ones that will be written about. Like when you can sit there and meditate and realize, like, holy shit, they're going to write about me in history books.
Yes.
That's a huge level of responsibility that most people want to run away from, right? It's gigantic.
Oh, yeah,
And it's too big. You're like, okay, wait, so like I love the musical Hamilton. I actually watch it all the time so that I can hold this frequency of you don't get to decide who tells your story. We don't decide who lives, we don't decide who dies, we don't decide who tells our story. So can you live your story right now so big and so bright that you're like, "Yep, I absolutely will be written in the history books for how I was able to serve, not because I need to be in the history books, but because I know that this world that I'm creating is worth creating. My grandchildren will never know scarcity, will never know hunger, will never know lack. Because I've done all this inner work to clear my bloodline. My children were already born before I did that, so they have like little tracers in their DNA. But my daughter's grandchildren, their DNA will be completely clean and cleared of all patriarchal work, or sorry, patriarchal belief systems. Completely. That is worth it. A world where everyone has access to clean food and healthy food and clean water and education and shelter and medicines from all over the world, and we have unity and respect. So many people want New Earth to be that right now, this utopian future that just turns on. You guys, that's not what it's about. We're creating it. We have to lead that light. And it's so much easier when you just say, you know what? Yeah, I have done some things in my past lives, in my current life, that might be considered evil. But that's because we're thinking about morality in a way when we're rewriting morals, we're rewriting ethic, we are rewriting society. So, can you show up and step up and say, okay, I love myself so much that I'm willing to do this? It doesn't matter if I die. I was born to do this. When you can do that, when you can stand in your own power, you will then call into you the reflection necessary to actually stand as a pillar, and like you can lean into each other to then make that vision happen.
It's gonna make you question all your belief systems too,
Everything.
because this is not the simple connection of having your soulmate and finding divine love and just having this crazy right where you just get to be in bliss. You have to go through the own inner chaos to navigate things, right? Having this twin flame connection. Karen's married, has 3 kids. I have a partner. It's just like we meet and we're like, what the heck is going on? What are we doing? How does this even work? It's completely shattering all the patriarchal norms of what's acceptable and what's in alignment for what you expect for a nuclear family to have. So I've been calling it nuclear, so NU with the build things over it, right? It's the new futuristic where it's like way expansive. We're coming together and we're not just having general generational wealth for a single family, we're creating global generational wealth. And we're doing that by bringing money from the old world to the new world, upgrading the old world with the new world principles, and coming together. But the scariest thing is that big mission, right? When it comes down to it, beyond all the triggers, beyond all the things that make you want to run away, at the core end of it, we really work through all that stuff. And then the other day, I'm sitting by myself at home, and I just really have this deep gut fear, and it's like, oh my God, I'm actually afraid of the mission. I'm so terrified of this global mission because it makes you take up so much space. It makes you get big. It makes you dream bigger than you ever dreamed. Last year, my dreams of where I was going was maybe here,
Well,
and
just
then
tell them what it was.
oh
Just be honest. Like,
yeah.
what were you thinking this time
So
last year?
this time last year, I was thinking I was going to do a sound healing tour. I was going to travel in my van with my dog. We were going to have the sound healing instruments in there, and I was going to go city to city teaching sound healing and Reiki and doing some sound baths and just kind of being a nomad and just, traveling around. And then beyond that, I was going to go live on the island and I was going to just chill on the island and just become nobody, like really dissolve from my ego and just have no name and just be there and just, go into
Super zen.
super zen, go into the ether. And now we're creating new earth. It's just like total shifts and total like rebirth of like going from that dissolution where maybe you felt like, yeah, okay, I'm fine with 95% of the population dying or disappearing or waking up in a reality where there's only 1/10 of the population left and no one knows where the bodies went. And there's just you and 3 people at the grocery store. And you're like, there's so much food, but where is everybody? What do you mean? There is nobody else. It's just us. Like, and you were okay with that, right? Because you're basically a nihilist or you're getting into some really dark atheist stuff and you're just like, well, I just so over this world, it's just too much. I can't bear to take the responsibility to rebuild it or create this new structure, so might as well see it burn to the ground.
Fuck humans.
Back to fuck humans, right? Which is the curses. They don't deserve my magic. They don't deserve my ability to see. They don't deserve any of this, right? So I'm gonna just do everything I can to
They
stop
don't
them.
get it.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. Why is it that I have to do all this work and they don't have to?
Yeah, why can't I just be that guy who's just chilling, TV dinners?
Oh yeah, or like even my husband.
Yeah.
My husband is, I mean, he's pretty woke dude, but on top of it, he doesn't care. He doesn't have that same like I need to go change the planet
It's in your
ideal.
bones. You feel it in your bones and your
it's there.
DNA and your blood. It's like if you didn't do it, if you refuse your mission, you know you're gonna get taken out.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna die somehow. You're gonna just it's gonna be like, oh, you didn't get it.
It wouldn't be worth it. Or when you think about it, I want to check IT. If you think about it, you're like, okay, let's go down this tunnel where I forget all of the inner work that I've done. I just say, fuck it. I'm never going to do any more questioning. I'm just going to live as I am right now for the rest of my life. And you start going down that path. You can't make it past the next couple of years thinking about that. It just kind of fades. There's no, you think that you can do it, but you can't. You either keep jumping back to the timeline, which is terrifying, and you're just like, wait, no, 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 I said no. I'm saying no to that. Like, fuck that. Absolutely not. I'm not going to become president of the United States. You can all fuck off. Guess what? I can't. I literally can't see myself as 42 years old and not be in the White House anymore. It all goes black. Teaching superconscious resources, also known as psychic abilities, you better start fucking paying attention to the future timelines you're looking at. If there are all these timelines and all of them eventually lead to the White House, why would I ever think otherwise anymore? Except for, okay, well, then I'm willing to die. I'm willing to completely check out, which is literally a choice of mine. I had that as a choice. I just, fuck that.
Also, to be very careful on choosing your timeline right now because we're in instant manifestation. So if you don't know where you're going, if you're wobbling, if you're not grounded, you don't know what you want, like you're really manifesting in chaos right now and you don't want to be in that space. So if you're here, super conscious leaders, please, for the love of your own self, your well-being, figure out what you want and zone in on it.
Yeah, think big. You have to dream. So let's go back to Dylan's dream. He wanted to do this little sound healing tour by himself in his van.
Yeah.
This time last year, I was talking about helping, what I've been doing. It's been me teaching owners of companies and campaigns and these amazing women, mostly who are ready to step out of their broom closets, own their weird, and shine super bright. But there's just one of me, and my vision is so big that I keep triggering my own growth, which makes it hard for me to serve clients and to continue growing an empire. That's what my problem has been for the last 2 years. I have the vision, but the structure itself doesn't exist because I do have 3 kids and I do have a husband and I also have a massage therapist and I'm also just, vortex of ascension. A day for me is like a year and a half for other people.
Every day a new you.
Every day is a new me. Every day. So I had no idea what I was going to create. What I knew is that I wanted a partner to build the empire that I could lean in 100% on, that didn't have any of the stigma borders, because the way that I create magic for me is in a very sexual primal way. And again, I just admitted my husband has never been on mission. He's a supporting role. He loves it. He holds it down as the dad, but he has no interest in going on tour with us, right? Maybe one day. So now we've come together and combined our vision, creating all of these things where we now have tour dates booked for this year to be able to go do activations and healings, to be creating the healing base, to be creating the music and the mantras. He's helping me with the bespoke dragon invocations. Now they're completely like cultivated bespoke tracks that are your curated higher self singing to you. It's fucking magic, right? We each had the dream. We both knew that we were supposed to heal the world through sound somehow. Me through my vocal cords, him through his bowls and other music, right? I knew I was supposed to show up as a leader. He knew that he was getting called to help the 144,000 somehow in the ether doing that. I still haven't figured that one out, but
Simultaneously, basically.
yeah.
We were having like similar visions coming weaving together and like this, but never linking up, right? Never having that moment until the work had been really done, right? Until we got into a place where like, okay, now you're ready to actually handle this chaos, because when you come back into union, it's like two comets smashing into each other, and the chaos is going to be so strong. You have to be at a high level of compassion and unconditional love, especially from the feminine holding space from the masculine, which I want you to talk about for the women. So you can say like how you did that, right? It just
Christina, Thanos, and I are coming live next week, ladies. If you want to know how to like hold space for the unawakened twin, make sure you're here next week. I'm gonna have another special guest who's also dealing with her twin flame. Yeah, it's gonna be real deep in there, but mostly it's that you know that you're the birther of reality. You have the vision already, and can you get over being rejected? Can you get off on being rejected? Is really what it is. Can you get over all of your stories, all your 3D stories? Um, yeah. Ari was one of my clients. She's one of my favorite beings. She's usually here. She's here for sure.
she's here.
She's always here. Um,
It's like book.
Ari actually, okay. So Ari Kala, we'll just talk about her for a second. A week before Ari Kala passed, she did a soul reanimation session for me. And when she went to my soul star, She could see my twin flame in a previous past life, and she said, "This is the soul that fully completes you, that you can make everything easy with, but you made a contract that you weren't going to meet him in this lifetime until you knew for certain that you could handle the soul mission on your own." That happened the 30th of June, 2020. She passed on 7/7 of 2020. Dylan and I met on like 10/1, like actually really connected. So in a 3-month period, I had my first $25,000 a month. I was killing it with the dragon invocations. I was fully in alignment with all of those things and knew no matter what that I was going to be shifting the frequency of the world into from fear into freedom. So, yes, Ari Kala, also that's what I mean by this is what I was also born to do, was to wake up this twin flame situation, because it's so much easier when it's both. When you have that perfect into, like, I can look at him and know that it's me, and just we tele what is this,
Telepathy.
constantly from across the. But at first it was terrifying, guys. My heart was breaking open. I didn't know what to do. I was married, happily married, 3 kids. He has a partner. What the fuck? What are we doing? How is this working? Why are we being thrown into this situation? How come I just want to run away into the mountains with you? How come I also now hate the fuck out of you and I just want you to leave me alone? How about you just go ditch me? Oh, wait, no, you're actually, wait, you've done this before. All the stories, all the triggers, because you never want, you don't realize how much you need those final tests to test your true convictions of what it is that you were born to do on this planet, which is to be the way shower for the rest of human consciousness. So just let that sink in, all of you that are watching. Your mission is to be a way shower for the rest of human consciousness. So that means that you're the one in the forest getting cut and dealing with the bears and doing all of that, right? Think about when they built the railroad, right? There was the person that had to go blow up the rock, had to go do that first. You have to become unfuckwithable, because you're going out to battle the scariest, deepest demons, not only in your own life, but then the global ones, so that other people are like, oh, it's safe. Okay, I can go over there. It's okay. That's what you were put on, like, that's what you chose to do on this lifetime, or you wouldn't be watching us.
Yeah.
You'd be watching someone else. Okay? It wouldn't be that you're not spiritual at all, or you're not on the path, or you're not doing shadow work. You just wouldn't be specifically listening to us speak.
And there's plenty of people talking about this.
Yeah.
But specifically here, you're drawn into this ascension vortex for a reason, and the quickest way to pull in your twin is to do the intense shadow work, to do the inner work, and the number one way to do that is just to take your power back and own your responsibility. How you have created your whole situation, and stop being the victim, and you do that, and you'll really just start to pull in that connection, because you'll up level, and then you'll be rooted in your angrier lighthouse, and then you'll collaborate with another lighthouse, and doesn't mean you'll be at each other's hip sides. One may be in India and one may be here, and you may be having this connection where you're basically the global rainbow bridge, sending heart energy across the planet, weaving it back and forth, almost like a strings attached between you guys, and your world travelers. Some people, this may be the case for you, but it's really stepping into it and noticing how, really, if people are coming into your life that are triggering the fuck out of you, that's going to be a good sign that they have a good contract for you to learn from. And I had a shadow twin. I was convinced that this person was my twin, and we had all the signs. Everything was happening. It was happening during Gemini full moon, Gemini season. It was the deep shadow work. I had just started doing the inner work. As soon as I started the inner work, I attracted them. It was this crazy connection, right? We didn't really have any drama. I started getting triggered. It felt like, okay, this is good. I'm going to hold on through the triggers. And then, yeah, it turned out to be just the physical manifestation of my own shadow that I projected to face myself, who would come for me and be able to show me these dark things, right? But it took that actual rejection of my shadow to then trigger even more deeper work, just to prepare me to actually meet my twin, and then do even more deeper work and almost run away. Slash, there's a phenomenon that happens, I call it the assassin phenomenon, and it's when anybody close to the divine feminine will turn on the divine feminine. So it happens to me, it happens to Ryan, her husband, and it just happens to these kind of situations, right? Because the patriarchy is so strong, the patriarchal frequency doesn't want to let go, and it goes all the way back to caveman. So it goes back to that me man, I provide, I get food. You woman, stay in cave, right? And just that same energy, it's that old, it's that ancient, and we're breaking through all the years of that as that developed through biblical times and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So really start to reflect and see like, is this your twin? Is it a shadow twin? Is
Yeah.
it a soul contract?
I met my shadow twin this I was dealing with him this time last year as well. And it's really the biggest thing that I noticed with him, like even a lot of the things about my twin, my shadow twin, are in common with Dylan. Like really sexy, really like musician, guitarist, gay, right? Like all these things all check off the list. The difference is that my shadow twin came for me, meaning that I was defamed afterwards. There was
Same.
small drama, wasn't even that big a deal, I didn't think, but what I was calling him to do was stepping up. I kept saying, "Why are you not doing music? Why are you doing this coaching thing when you should be doing musician?" So I was doing what I do with every person, which is holding them in their highest vibration. And because it was a reflection of my shadow, he wasn't able to hold it. And in less than 48 hours, I lost about 200 friends on Facebook because he literally like just tore everybody away from me that was willing to listen to him. And they trusted him more than me. So this,
Same thing happened to me. Different thing.
yeah,
Same thing though.
but like he was defamed by his twin. Like same, so you will notice that that's where it comes, is that when you're like, okay, I'm on mission, let's do this, let's work together, let's make it. If you're with your shadow twin, they will turn on you fucking hard and fast
They'll defame you.
and defame you.
But it's part of the contract.
It's part of the contract. It's not a negative, you're not a victim to it, but that's how you know there. I was not looking for a twin flame. That's the other thing. You don't find your twin flame when you're looking for them.
No.
I was happy as a clam.
I knew because I'm clairvoyant. I knew I could feel my twin coming in. But I actually, what's interesting about this is I'm a caveat real quick back to the shadow twin. So the shadow twin will defame you because character assassination, you need to go through it for the ego death. So what is a character, right? It's a role that you play or you create. It's a mask. So you have to get your most precious mask to you to destroy. For me, it was my reputation as a healer and a contributor to society and like what my integrity was. And that really low blowed me because I lost a lot of people that I thought were close to me because I had made trauma bond relationships in the healing community quickly without really, because everyone wants to connect with the heart. So we go real hard with that. So he did that for me, and I'm so grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm great. Like my shadow twin messaged me on election day, real quick, just a real fast one. Hey, I love everything that you've been doing. Karen Terrace 2024, and then blocked me again. Just enough to send me a message saying that he was thinking about me on election day because I was always talking about being president, right? That shows that there's just a little thing. Oh, I'm probably near the mic, Carla.
Yeah, we need to get like a lapel mic, so we'll be Gucci. We're getting new mics. We're getting everything.
We're upgrading,
Yeah, we're
guys.
upgrading.
It's fine.
Oh, but I was gonna say, so I knew psychically I could feel my
There's people up here too.
I could feel my twin coming in, and but I thought it was gonna be a man because I just felt like, oh, it's gonna. I've always felt like I hold 51% feminine codes and 49% masculine, so I was assuming that it was gonna be a man who would like. I thought it was gonna be a man in his 50s, like some sort of spiritual plant medicine like dude that I would just connect with, and he'd be my spiritual dad basically, and evolve me through through my journey. And instead, I got Karen, and it's basically like that same kind of concept.
Yeah, except for not at all. Okay.
So ironically about the twins is I hold the feminine codes, Karen holds the masculine codes.
Right.
She has the feminine body, I have the masculine body.
And that's because, again, what are we doing? We're breaking social constructs.
People think she's trans
all the time,
and I did drag. So we're both we're breaking through every social construct, every death code, Karen's like, I'm so tired of being called trans. And I said, just step back for a second, right? And everyone thinks that that's going on for you. How funny is that, right? And how embarrassing is that? It's not, right? No one, you can't escape it.
Literally, I can't.
Because you're so balanced then. You're holding that the internal polarities are so balanced that you hold it down both, right? You're able to be masculine, can hold down for the family, make all this structure, kill it on the business, do all this stuff, get me motivated because I'm this just feminine being who wants to just play with the fairies and run around in the grass, but that doesn't get much done.
Yeah.
So
androgynous auric alignment. Yep, that's me. Full andro.
yeah.
And that's fine. And it's really, but even those triggers, right? We'll even say things to each other where I'm like, wait, are you coming for me? I thought you loved me. Oh, wait, you're a reflection. You literally say things to me to trigger me on purpose. When you get to that level of understanding that that's what your twin flame is, and a knowing also that just because some twin flames have a sexual connection, not all of them do. Even the highest level of them, because it's how do you create best? What are your own codes? What in the thousands of years that you've been apart from each other, what are your final pieces of karma? Maybe other twins are that father son dynamic that are happening because that's the piece that still needs to be healed for that soul to fully come into alignment with itself and then have the ability to then be Luke Skywalker, right? And just become one with the force. Because that is, you have to remember, that's the end goal for the 144,000 is to come fully into alignment with themselves in full divine union, that their energy helps to then push the whole of the planet into fifth dimension, just like Karnak is the planet that the Syrians live on. You can't see it in the 3D. It rotates Sirius B. So we're always like, oh, the Syrian Star Nation, because that's Sirius B. There's actually a planet out there rotating Sirius B, but it's in the fifth dimension. That's what we're going to be doing with Gaia. Okay, let's. What the fuck is the mission? Transcend an entire planet and her population into higher planes of consciousness. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy, but that's it. That's it. Like, can you stand up? Can you hear that call? And are you willing to look at yourself in the mirror and then accept the love and support? Because the hardest thing isn't even the triggers, is it? It's the support system.
Yeah, it's the support system. Someone's being able to hold space for everything, because you're used to someone not being able to hold space for you. So it's like chaos and fights and drama and stuff like that, where just like you just can't be your authentic self. You can't be seen.
If you are, they run.
If you are, they run. Yeah, or that kind of stuff. So allowing yourself to be seen, I think, and supported and held in different ways, right? And being okay with that. It's been pretty big. And knowing that, like, for me, it was like, oh, I knew my mission was to support the divine feminine. Almost all my clients are women, and I help them all with their ability to do that, or they're very in tune emotional men who are ready to come into support roles. Regardless if they're conscious, they may just want to be a conscious 3D man. And they want to understand this stuff, and they're like, hey, I'll sit here on the borderline and I'll hold space and I'll be a good man and I'll be a good husband.
You'll be a good dad.
And I'll be a good dad,
Well, you go serve the mission, because that's what we've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Women, for the last however long, if a man came home and said, hey, honey, my friend and I, we're going to go into business together, but we're going to go and live in the other side of the world for the next 6 months to set it up. A woman would be expected to say, okay, I'll be here, I'll hold it down while you're gone. But if you try to flip that, there's all sorts of societal stigma and shame around it. But when we're talking about the rise of the divine feminine, that's actually what we're talking about, is flipping a lot of these gender roles, which is why me being as androgynous as I am is perfect, because I'm flipping these gender roles. Like, Dylan's coming in now and helping as pretty much a nanny right now, because I have so much work to do on our brand that doesn't make sense for me to try to explain it to him so he can help me build it. Why don't I just fucking build it and you go hang out with my kids for 4 hours?
And that was a big trigger for me. But I said, oh yeah, I'm committed to serving the divine feminine. I know that's my mission. And I say that out loud. It sounds amazing. I help women heal. I do all this stuff. It sounds great. I'm still selfish as fuck, and I'm still a narcissist behind the scenes. And then I get presented with a situation. It's like, oh, well, you help your twin with the support by helping with her 3 kids because she needs this help right now. Will you help by coming in and connect because they love you? Can you do that? Well, I shouldn't have to do that. to be in a business with somebody or even a friendship with someone, I should never have to step out and do that and just offer my time. I could be making money. I could be being a glutton. I could be doing whatever I want besides doing that. And it triggered the hell out of me. And then I realized, oh, whoa, I'm supposed to be selfless. Like so our gene keys, my theme is selfless, hers is selfish. So everyone thinks she's a selfish bitch because she's doing whatever she wants. And I'm here just to support. So basically, that actually means me being the Manny or me doing whatever I can to create that space. So she brought me in to help give her the space so that she could create all this glory. And all I have to do is show up and channel and download and
play music.
And play music. And that's the gift that I get. I don't have to work so hard. I just have to play support and hold it down. But it was me being like, I don't have to be the leader man anymore and dissolving that man ego and the need to be in the front and the need to be like, well, why don't you support me, right? This sort of weird thing where and really coming out of that paradigm and breaking those things down. So for the men, it's that is the role, right? And for like her husband, it's like accepting me and being able to like love and support the kids and hold it down. We're breaking all of these societal norms, right? We're seeing a lot of the twins as heteronormative couples, right? Where it's a male and man and woman, but it might be a gay man and a straight woman, and the straight woman has a husband and kids, or it's a lesbian and a straight man. He's got a wife and kids, and it's saying how much can you dissolve from what you were told was how it's supposed to happen, and be okay with maybe your twin not being a romantic one for you, or completely earth shattering your reality. It's that level of detachment that's coming through too.
Yeah. 3-5 generator. Yeah. I'm a 1-4 manifesting generator, my love. Totally. That's what it. And again, super conscious leaders, leaders of New Earth. We are here to take all of those paradigms and crush them into this tiny little paste and then go make the mortar for building New Earth with it.
And seeing what works, right?
What works, what doesn't, right? Like we tried a thruple thing, that didn't really work at all. We tried to just like bounce and go to Hawaii for a month, that didn't work. Like if we could sit here for 7 hours and walk you guys through the last 100 days of our lives, and it would be a full like literally 7 hour fucking feature film.
Yeah, but the throuple was more of like a how new Earth are we, rather than actual. And then when like Ryan was like down for it, and I was like, no,
you couldn't hold it.
I can't. So here we are in this weird nuclear support family where yeah, eventually we may move to another house together. We'll all travel together. We'll be in this thing, or we'll collect more of us and more come into the dragon's den.
But we don't care about that because it's mission focused, right? When you can detach from yourself, detach from your own personal life, detach from what other people are going to think, right? Even posting the pictures, there's been all sorts of gossip going on between like here in Salt Lake City about what is this and what are they doing, all these things. Who gives a fuck? We're on mission, right? That's at the end of the day, those of us who are here to be those lighthouses, right? We say I'm the lighthouse, he's the light. To really come together that much, you have to just not literally become like I don't give a fuck. I am unshameable. You can't fuck with me. This is my mission. I'm a dragon doula. I will help you become the dragon you're meant to be. Dragons are impenetrable. Dragons are ancient. They are fully supported. The resources from above and below are constant. We know that everything's working out no matter what. Why? Because we can see the Super Conscious Festival. We can see it all around the world. We can see all of the places that we go, big venues, rock venues, concert venues, as well as these amazing utopian farms and whatever communes, right? Weaving that web between New Earth and Old Earth, high end coaching, free donation based sound baths, all of it, both and more. That's what we're building and that's what we're creating. And that's why we wanted to show up this week and be like, hey, so what's this going on? Also, what's this TwinFlame thing? And kind of just set the record straight that there's not a certain path, except for that you know that you love yourself so much that when a reflection of that love shows up for you, really truly, it's not going to feel like a romantic fairy tale. You're going to feel like you are in the depths of hell. I promise you that's
there's
what
a
it
lot of
is.
selfless energy, so you have to like hold space for each other and go back and forth. And probably the woman is gonna hold space for the man more. That's just a guarantee, just how it normally is, anyways. But maybe not. But most likely it is.
Whoever holds the vision. So that I have met a couple of gay twin flame situations
Okay,
that
you
have been
have.
going on.
I haven't met any.
And what it is whoever holds the biggest vision. Like, I was the one that was dreaming about presidencies and intergalactic missions, right? The one who has the bigger vision is the one who has to hold that vision. That's what it really, really, really comes down to. And right now, yes, it is in a heteronormative relationship. It would be the woman because we're the birthers of reality. We're the ones that have the codes. We can see New Earth because we're the ones that are bred to have the children, right? My daughter is carrying an egg inside of her that was inside of me when I had her. Oh, it's ending. Oops,
It's
sorry.
okay.
Instagram, they'll come to find us. Um, so I was carrying my granddaughter inside of me at one point, right? So that means the work that I've been doing really is clearing through all of these generations. So women have that, we can see New Earth better. We understand, okay, I can actually see this planet where there is no money, where everyone has access to food. It's a little bit harder for men to see it right now.
Also, you guys create your own reality by giving birth.
Yeah.
So you guys already know what that's like, where men just don't really understand.
Yeah. So, but in a trans relationship or a gay relationship where that's
Non-binary.
happening, non-binary, it will always be whoever has the bigger vision, right? One thing that Dylan used to always tell me that fucked with me super hard. Dylan was the producer of K Theory. If any of you guys have ever heard of this fucking EDM group, he would tell me that no one ever heard about this, that nobody knew this side of him. No one knew that he was a musician. No one knew any. It was literally the only thing I ever fucking heard from him. Ever. All of the shadows, all of the shame. The first day that we even really like hung out and connected, I did cranial sacral work for him. He told me his whole life story, and it all had to do with music and being a rock star. But other people that I know who know him didn't know this about him. So I had this huge vision. He had this little vision. What am I doing? I'm pulling him actually into his full potential. Oh, I'm going to heal the world through sound by traveling in my van. I'm going to fly you around on private jets and have you play for hundreds of thousands of people in giant festivals where MDMA isn't necessary because we're all high on free bliss. Yeah, whoever has the bigger vision,
And
exactly.
this is also where I wanted to go to, like in the background. However, I have been so disillusioned from the trauma that I experienced in my past that I let myself experience and hold on to with the stories by being the victim that I didn't even think it was possible because I was so my self-worth was so low, I think.
Yeah.
My ability to even receive love, I completely turned off my heart, and it was like I could give my love, but I was just like, don't even try giving me your love
Right.
because I'm not able to hold it.
And that's the other part of like the twin thing, right? I give and give and give and give and give love so easily, but then again, receiving the support is hard. The other side of this is one of the twins, usually the opposite, right? So they'll be the one that's super grounded in the vision, like, this is what I'm creating. You can either come with me or you can't. Like, I would say it to him all the time. I'm like, I'm fucking doing this with or without you. I don't give a fuck, right? That twin will be here, super grounded. The other one will be this super heady spiritualist that's like, constantly up here, like all in the third eye, completely just like, right? He wanted to go run away and disavow everything and go become one with the islands. So here I am grounded with a fucking new like family running my life and then also having this giant big vision. He's all super heady and not grounded at all. So you come and you meet in this middle place where I helped him pull in the vision and ground it and clear and really root into what it is that he was meant to create. And he helped pull me out of my 3D life, right? Like detaching. I can go be a rock star. I can go travel the world. I don't have to stay here till my kids turn 18, right? So it does this, right? It's not that either of us were better than the other one. It was that this is my life. I'm here. I have this big vision, but I have no idea how I'm going to get there. And he was, I don't really have a big vision, but I know how to hold really high space and I'm really connected to the ether. And we were able to meet in this equilibrium where we've created a whole new reality that doesn't make sense to a lot of people until you come hang out with us. But it's very grounded and very practical while also being really high level consciousness, both and more.
Yeah.
Please don't leave me.
It's epic, it's fun, it's big, it's
Yeah,
scary,
like
it's nauseating. You know, you probably gonna throw up once or twice. I've thrown up a few times. Um,
yeah.
and
And it's all because you wanted it. Okay, you have to remember, if you do, okay, this is not a guarantee, right? If you do the inner work to the level that you are fully and completely in love with every aspect of yourself, therefore attracting the other half of you, and they have also done the inner work necessary to love all of the parts of themselves, the only logical thing to do now is these two perfect halves come together, right? The yin and yang actually fully come together, but there's still going to be the traumas of this life that you're helping each other work through. And then you reach this pocket like we're in right now. You guys are going to watch over the next 6 weeks, and you'll then remember this live and be like, oh, they were warning us. They were giving us a warning of how quickly things can really ascend and move once you've taken all the chaos that the twin flame connection first gave you, and you're going and weaving and making something and creating something amazing and beautiful with it. But that means that you have to feel worthy of that support. I have to be okay with having a husband and a twin flame that love and support me so much that they're going to help me change the planet. That's a lot of shit for a woman to deal with because we're told that we have to do it all on our own. And that's what we're going to be talking about next week with Christina. So make sure part two of the twin flame if you want that part.
Breaking down those norms where it's okay for you to leave.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. For me to leave, that was a huge one too because I'm going to be doing a ton of traveling.
a lot of the 72,000 twin women are mothers.
Yeah, we have to be. We have that divine birther, creatrix, divine mother of all life. Take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing. You know I know nothing. And yet I'm so connected with everything that I manifest $3,000 randomly just by thinking about it, and the government sent it to me. Tasty. Let's see. Wait, it's interesting more about your dynamic experience. I'd realized the complementary. Yeah, that's my hang up. Can't leave. Have you all overcome the karmic work of removing subliminal societal structure of abrasive authority? Yeah. So that's the biggest thing is like, as the one who's creating the reality, how do I require people to show up in my life? Right. And that's what, how, I don't talk to Dylan if he's in a certain frequency that he used to show up in all the time. And now it's like once every month, maybe not even hasn't happened in the last month. Actually, have you gone that low?
I'm emo.
But I set a standard that I wasn't going to deal with the frequency of Dylan that doesn't like me.
It's been pretty good. I will say, like, I even would usually I would go home and I would start to hate her, and I would be like, oh, she's out to get me. She's one of these shadows again. It's the same pattern. I'm attracting it again. Oh my god, she's black magic. She's a black widow. She's cast a spell. Like literally every day. I swear, if I was not here, that happened. And now it's transmuted to holy shit. I'm actually just afraid of the mission, and I was blaming her for that. And now it's to like, oh my god, I'm excited, let's work and let's actually make this happen. And as soon as we connected that space, boom, everything.
Yeah. And I've been sitting here the whole time, just been like, we have this mission, and when you're ready to go do it, let's go. And in the meantime, I'm going to deal with all the chaos in my personal life. Right? So you have to just go with the flow with that. That's even there. Like go back to your practices, right? That nothing really is that different except for that you have to be even more in alignment. Like be all that you preach to be. Actually show up and do the work. Actually show up and hold your vision of reality and stop thinking so small. So when you're asking, have we overcome the karmic work of removing subliminal societal structure? It's that as they come up, Z, we're very aware of them, and they just are able to very quickly transmute to the point where people, they just don't show up for me very often anymore, but when they do, it's like having a white fuzzy on a black shirt. It just becomes so fucking obvious that you're able to just go pick it really quickly.
Is like abusive authority, I think she means coming from societal rhetoric and
Okay.
from expectations in society. And I think when you realize that you are God and you are the creator, that you create all your own rules and you created all these rules, so you can really lean into what authority you want to hold as a leader and then what authority you're willing to go into alignment with. So like because the private jet's not here, we have to align with the authority that you wear a mask the whole time on the plane. However, when you're not on the plane, you can take it off. that kind of leaning into those kind of things and not letting anything define you unless you choose it,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, right? And questioning all patriarchal abrasive authority techniques and everything, questioning gender, questioning religion, questioning all the stories and dogmas you are taught by your family and your friends, all that kind of stuff, right? Choosing what reality you want to play in.
Yeah. It's kind of how I feel about being a black person in the States, Booty. Feeling unsafe even with that hilarious insurrection.
I don't know those booties, like feeling the hilarious. I don't understand that one.
Yeah. Carla, can you rephrase that one, baby? I don't understand it. I don't let society blah 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 dictate how I feel. Right. So that's even something like this where I was getting triggered by our photo that we shared about this live. I've been talking about this for a month now, and it's literally like, can you just be that solid with who I am? Right? This is the story I played out. This is the melodrama of my life that I created. This is the play that I authored, and now I'm the leading role in. So, having that level of authority, having that level of responsibility for everything in your future as well as in your history makes it so that you can do taboo things, which is what my gene keys really say is that I'm selfish because I'm helping to create the taboo as a norm. Only reason why things are taboo is because they're not normal. As soon as you normalize them, they're no longer taboo. So, for me, that started with cannabis back in the day, and now that's totally normal. Now we're leaning into, then it was libertarianism, and now more and more people are stepping away politically. Then it was being a home birth mom. I'm always doing something that seems like it's so weird and crazy, but then in 5 years it's totally what everyone's fucking doing. I just know that about me. So can you in your own way do that and show up for your own self and be that way shower? That's, I'm gonna keep saying that. Are you a dragon, or are you a maiden waiting to be saved in a tower? Because if you're waiting to be saved in a tower and you meet some guy that comes and saves you and fixes your life, then that's definitely not the twin flame connection that we're talking about.
And then another one is, are you a maiden in the tower waiting to be saved, but you secretly know you're a dragon, but you're afraid of mission, so you're hiding as a maiden in the tower waiting to be saved because it's easier? That's the other one.
Yeah, it is easier to wait to be saved. Oh, I'll just wait for the dragons and then I'll just like follow in their wake.
Or to be super conscious, spiritual, whatever, and to not have boundaries and then let your partner just walk all over you and project their 3D bullshit onto you or whatever, feeling trapped in those situations, right? And not taking ownership and realizing, oh
Oh,
wow,
that's me. Dragon living in a gilded cage.
yeah.
My cage is no longer gilded. There isn't one anymore.
I
But that's
feel
what was happening.
I feel like we're here. We've reached
We're
our
here.
epic, like our
Yeah, we're
point.
good. Um, I would love for some of you guys, some of these questions I think would be better for another live. So let's go ahead and send me a DM if you want me to talk about those. Those let me in your life guys are facts. Facts. So for those of you who might want to know more about this whole twin flame phenomenon, if you're really interested in that, make sure that you come in next week. As I'm talking with Christina, we're going to talk more about the actual journey that women at least are going through with this, because we're the ones calling in the twins really hard right now, whoever's holding that big vision, which for the most part, like we said, are the women. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a dragon invocation to help clear any karmic ties that you might have, to help make those connections really clean and strong. When it comes to the oppression from the patriarchy, I'm going to go back and re-share a live that I did back in June about the inner patriarchy. I think that it's something that could be very beneficial for anyone, uh, anyone at all, to realize that there's nothing external that you didn't create. It's all a reflection of your own internal conversation.
Yeah, but what about that one guy
Hmm.
who did me wrong?
You created him.
I created him.
Yeah, you created him.
Damn,
Created all of you.
I'm so powerful.
Right?
And imagine, look at all the chaos you've created in your life and just appreciate yourself and be like, dang, I am this powerful. I am this much of a control freak. I am this much of a narcissist. And then how do you funnel those powerful special abilities into your gifts, right? How do you become so selfishly consumed with your mission that you're able to share it with the world, right? And how do you spread that out? And how do you become a control freak where you're able to manage multiple systems, multiple businesses, multiple things, and have them self-run so you can just be constantly making money and changing the world? How do you use those abilities that are normally taboo or bad things that people say those are disabilities or whatever, and empower yourself with?
That, and also, how do you use the magic that you know to your advantage and not be like, oh, well, I'm harming other people? That's do as thou will, is what Aleister Crowley would say, right? Do as thou will, realizing that you're at a level of high enough consciousness that your will is unified with the divine and that there are no victims. And whatever victim story you have is really the play that you wrote for yourself. So instead of asking, well, how do I do this to someone outside of you, you ask it to yourself, right? Really and truly, like, how did I write myself into this story? Okay, well, I must have written myself an exit strategy too. And are you willing to lose everything for that, right? Like, I had to be willing to lose my family, my husband, my support system, my house. I was about to literally move into a women's shelter at one point during the last 100 days because of the chaos that was ensuing. But I held the vision that no, I fucking deserve to be supported in this because the mission is that big.
And I was also sitting there being like, yo, the women's shelter would be epic for your novel.
For the book, for the autobiography.
But it didn't happen because the universe came through with support.
You can message me, Kelly, if you want.
The
We literally just talked about that for the last
the
hour.
universe came through with support and allowed you to have that structure, right? So
Yeah.
to
Well,
create that space.
I created it, right? I am God in physical form, so I created the structure that supports me. I created the chaos. I created the
But
melodrama over the
what
holidays.
about your guides?
My guides are still just voices that I created.
So everything is just you?
Yeah, everything is just me.
Emoji.
Everything is just you too. You created me. That's what's the funniest thing when you get mad at me.
And therefore I have realized that.
Yeah.
So every time I'm mad, I'm like, this is the shadiest thing ever because it's like yourself leaving a post-it note for you that you didn't know you wrote and that you find, and then it's like, pretty
Yeah.
good, you got me.
Yeah. It's really, you can start having so much fun with your mission when you realize that it's just a fucking game, right? There's no anything that's going on in your life, guys. Let's leave on that note.
It's all a
Whether or
game.
not you go and out tomorrow and you find your twin flame, whether or not you go out tomorrow and deal with a karmic contract that totally fucking sucks, and you get completely ripped off and someone steals $1,000 from you and breaks into your car, just all this horrible bad things. You like how I always put quotes around the words good and bad? It's because it's subjective. You are creating it. What is the lesson? Where is the lesson? Yeah, being triggered all the time and having fun because you just need the cognitive dissonance to remind yourself of who you are. You have a big fucking mission. So all of your guys' homework tonight, today, is to tune in. What is the biggest, scariest vision on your heart? What is the thing that you're like, if I do this, I would probably get assassinated trying, but goddamn, it would be cool if I did it. Because that's what you're supposed to be creating. I promise you, if you're watching this live stream, that big thing that's going to get you assassinated is the thing you need to be working on and will help you get over your fear of getting assassinated.
Yeah, the 144,000, no matter what they do, are really just a disruptor frequency. And they're just coming in holding these codes. If you are in tune with energy or you're an energy worker and you do energy work on people, you may hear them. They kind of sound like bit crush music or the 8-bit music or whatever, how the weird, like that kind of frequencies. And they're really just here to disrupt in all ways. So whether they're creating a new earth disruptor business or they're gathering people
Music.
through the political sphere, music, however it may be, them just existing as a disruptor. So you may not be needing in the front lines, you may be building the systems on the back end, you may be doing the new earth tech, you may be doing all kinds of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone here, everyone guided to this, know that if you have a small mission where like, hey, I just want to be a mom, and that's amazing, and create new earth babies, that's amazing, but what after that? What do you do beyond being the new earth baby mom? What do you
And being okay if you realize I have a client, I'm going to speak to that really quick. She is actually not the leader. She has a kid. One of her kids is like going to be, I don't even know what he is, to be honest. Some
great teacher?
amazing teacher. Her job is to help him and be a fully super conscious mother and a super conscious leader by showing these other ways, right? She's on her own. She doesn't have support system like that way. She's a single mom, but is killing it and crushing it in her business and really stepping out. Again, changing the norms that way. But when it comes to what's my bigger mission, she's always seeing herself supporting her son, right? She's there helping him in that way, even to the point where she sees herself helping like babysit his kids in the future so he can go be the world politician that he's supposed to be, right? So leaders, super conscious leaders come in all levels, but you do realize that you are leading the change. She knows that the way she parents does affect the way that other people around her parent, and therefore, even being just a mom, she's showing up as this new mother, this new way of mothering without the old fear tactics, with this super sexy goddess vibe and not giving a fuck, right? I want to help people have orgasms just by walking into their room. Carla, come to Salt Lake and play with us. We want to do a cacao ceremony with you.
Yes.
Please, let's do that.
Project your orgasm globally and cosmically. It'll shift the ripples of time. If a flap of the butterfly's wings can do something crazy like cause the butterfly effect, what can your pussy do? So, pow.
Do that. Do that. We love you all. Let's see. I just respect. Yeah. Yeah. Respect to all the new. Amen. Amen. With that, respect to all the new Earth mothers. Amen. We'll close with that. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us today.
If you're in Salt Lake, we're doing a Lunar New Year sound bath on Friday night at the clubhouse in downtown on South Temple. We got information on that. You'll probably receive some sort of information, a mailer, a flyer, and it's a donation-based event for the community so we can all get together and really process what's going on right now, set the intentions for the Lunar New Year, and help create a fertile environment for New Earth to really expand this year through each of us. So we'll be doing that on the 12th.
On the 11th, inside Super Conscious Leaders Facebook group at noon, we're going to be doing the new moon ritual. So every Thursday at noon, we go live. Every other week is either the new moon or full moon ritual. And then the off weeks, we do something else. We just did a Mercury retrograde sound bath. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing a guided meditation. So make sure if you're not in that group, you are. If you want to reach out to us about any of our programs, bespoke mentoring, whatever, just DM us. I got soccer practice I got to take my kid to.
Yeah, we're about to be launching a huge TwinFlame program. So if you're curious about the TwinFlames, hit us up. And then
we're doing Super Conscious Leaders Festival.
So many things.
So many things, guys. This is just like the mini coming out. Don't be surprised.
And if you think you're our quadruplets and you want to come join, let us know, and then we can go interstellar. We're going to be pairing up with the Elon Musk and going to outer space.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take the dragon.
Yeah, we'll ride the dragon.
Okay.
Thanks,
we
guys.
love you all. Bye.